guys, and welcome back to a brand new Sims 4 speed build. If you're new to my channel, hey, how's it going? I'm Jen, and for today's video, we're going to be using terrain tools to make a 3-story family home. To start out on this build, I went ahead and just made a basic room. This would eventually become the bottom level of the house, which is a garage. And my intention is to lower it into the ground and add a sloping down driveway towards it. So once I thought I had it far enough back to be able to create that later, I made the next 2 levels going up. The first of those is technically going to be the first story of the home, and then the second is the second story. So that's where the 3 stories actually come from in this build. Once I fine-tune the elevation to what I think will work, I start working on the sloping driveway, and right here I realized that I didn't give myself enough space to create a gradual enough slope, so I actually shortened that back room as you saw, and then I was able to move the entire house back a little bit and give myself some more length for the driveway, which made the slope far less steep and I think that much more realistic. Then I'm just going to work with the terrain paints a little bit just to start getting an idea of where I'm going to take this thing later, but we don't get into too much detail here before swinging around to the front side of the house. And this part of the house changes so much from what my initial idea was to the final result, which I'm sure you can tell thumbnail versus what you're seeing right now. I kept it in just to kind of show you guys how many times my ideas will change about a house. It's why I cut so many things out of the build, just because it really isn't relevant to the final result and it would make the video so much longer. But I kept it in for this video because I did think it was interesting watching the progression of the house. And I wasn't hating on the original concept. It's not like I thought it was bad. I just think where it ended up was better. So we're just going to go ahead and do a basic shape for the second story before hopping up to the roof. I use one major piece to just run the biggest area of the roof and then just use a couple smaller sections of roof just to give it a little bit of a more interesting shape. I don't normally show the roof building areas of the video, and I know I'm dropping the ball by not knowing the actual names of the different types of roof, but this in particular was one of my favorite roof builds, so I felt like leaving it in. So there you go, you get to see it. Now at this point we've moved down to the second story and you're about to see a lot of changes happen to the front corner of this house. I honestly don't think I was initially looking at this area to change the roof and everything over here. I think I accidentally dropped a row of walls that I didn't mean to, if I'm being like 100 with you guys. And in the process of trying to fix it, I realized that a wraparound porch would open the front of this house up so much and it would look so cool. So realistically, I didn't intend to put this porch on. It was kind of like a Bob Ross happy accident situation. But I'm glad it happened because it definitely made the house shape more interesting than just the basic box we had prior to this porch being added. And random fact about me, I rent my house. I do not own a home, but one day when I do buy a home, the only mandatory requirement I have for my future home, and this has been a requirement since I was a child, is that it has a wraparound porch. My grandmother's house had a wraparound porch, which I did a not exact replica of in a previous speed build that I'll link up below, but I really honestly and truly have always loved wraparound porches. I think they make a house just look so homey and welcoming, and just there's something like warm and inviting about a wraparound porch. And one day when I am blessed enough to be able to buy my own home, that is definitely something that is going to be on it. So while we jump into the interior of the home, I'm kind of curious to know if any of you guys have any mandatory things that you're going to have in your future homes. Or if you've already bought your own home, were there any things that you made sure were in the house before you bought it? So comment down below and let me know. I'm kind of curious. I look forward to seeing what you guys say. It might even give me ideas for things to make sure I add into future builds. But for now, let's go back to talking about this one. This house ends up having 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, one of which is a master bath. There is, I would say, 2 living rooms as well as a little reading nook. There is a kitchen, a dining room, and then a garage on the lower level. I didn't do a laundry room in the build, but it could be easily added to that garage area. And if you have pets, you will be happy to know that this house is pet friendly and set up for both cats and dogs. So here you can see I'm just mapping out the second story a little bit. Right now I'm kind of working on the master suite area. And then we go ahead and jump down into the kitchen and start dropping down the counters and appliances. I know I say this a lot about most of my builds whenever I build them, but I gotta tell you guys, this is one of my favorite kitchens. I know I've said that about other kitchens, but I promise you, I mean it so much about this one. We've jumped to the dining room. I hope we go back to the kitchen. We'll have to wait and see, but I love the way that this kitchen turns out in the very end. My real life kitchen is so tiny. This kitchen is like a dream come true compared to the kitchen that I actually have to cook food in. I actually built my apartment complex once, my apartment within it. I didn't record myself building it, so I could never really show you guys that. I don't know that I would want to take on building it again. But if you guys are interested in seeing what my apartment looks like, comment down below and let me know, because I can do a video walkthrough of it and still give you guys a sense of how little and tiny my apartment is and what my kitchen's like. And then I feel like you guys would totally get why every time I do a house with a super large kitchen, I'm like, oh my god, I love this kitchen. It's what I don't have in my life. And on the note of things that my apartment does not have, it also doesn't have a dining room, which is what we are working on now. This space was pretty tricky. It was so much longer than it was wide that finding a comfortable way to set the furniture that was practical for use but also aesthetically pleasing took a lot of patience and a lot of flipping and rotating things over and over again. And then we transition into the living room area. When I was scrolling through the couches, I came upon a corner couch that I knew I wanted to be outside of the build on one of the porches, but the problem was it didn't look right on any of the current porches, so I ended up cutting out a whole new porch just directly above the garage because I could see it going there so beautifully. And this is another case of just the progression of a house where initially I did not think to put a porch here, but the moment that I set it up and got that couch out there, it kind of transformed the house for me, and I started getting really strong New England summer house vibes. I don't know if that's weird or not, but it's definitely true. When I started this build, I was actually inspired by houses that I've seen in southern Georgia. But as soon as I put that porch up there above the garage, it was this weird pivotal point where I then saw the house very clearly in a New England summer home kind of style. I don't know, it was weird, but it happened. Now, we're gonna slide into the living room at this point and start working on that area. I do want to point out this one part of the build. If you're familiar with custom content, I'm sure you've seen the bookcases that are designed to go underneath the stairs. If you want to have that bookcase effect under your stairs, but you don't want to download a CC item, you can take these shelves and line them with the BB Move object cheat turned on to create a very similar feel. And then you can just use the books that come in the clutter category of the decorative area and really give yourself that bookcase vibes underneath those stairs. You can put plants or pictures, whatever you want under there, and it gives you that same appeal that you get from putting one of those CC bookcases. So if you like to remove the wall that comes underneath the staircases and open up that empty space, I would recommend trying to make your own bookcase underneath it, because sometimes they turn out pretty awesome and they really can add just the right amount of detail underneath the staircase to make a room feel more homey and welcoming. We're sliding into the little reading nook that is off of the living room, and we're getting pretty close to being done with the first story of the build, so I'm going to take this time to highlight the one issue of this build to you guys. And I'm actually hoping that maybe one of you might even know how to fix it. While I was doing this build, I did periodically stop and use a sim to actively check certain areas of the house to make sure that everything was still working. I knew I was playing with terrain tools and that something could go wrong pretty easily, so I stayed pretty diligent in making sure that the sim could still access the house, could climb all the different levels, and through, I would say, 80% of this build, the sim that was in this house was able to move about everywhere and use everything without struggle. But as I was doing the interior of the home, I was still occasionally going to the outside and tweaking things about the height of the house, changing the steps here and there, and somewhere along the way, I broke the front porch. This sim has full access to the back porch of the house. It also has the ability to use the stairs on the side of the home as well as the stairs inside of the garage. All of these manners will allow the sim to get into the home, do whatever she wants inside the house. There's no struggles once you're in the house, and there's no struggles on the back porch or the side staircase. But you cannot use the front porch. No matter what I do, no matter what I try, no sim will go onto the front porch of this house, and I don't know why, because there was a point where that sim, no doubt, was able to use the front porch, but somewhere, something I did, don't know what it was, made it so that she could no longer do that. If you have any ideas what I may have done, I would love to hear them, so please comment down below and let me know. This house will be available in the gallery under Simplay Family Home, and if you want, you can download it, play around with it, tear it apart, put it back together, do whatever you want. And if you happen to figure out how I broke that front porch and you can tell me and help me fix it for my own game, I would be eternally grateful. I think this house is awesome, and I would just love it to work to its full capacity. If the front porch is never fixed, you can still use this house, so if you still want to download it just because you like it and you want to use it, like I said, it's in the gallery under Simplay Family Home, or you can look at my ID, Simplay Jenn, and your Sims will still be able to get into the house, do everything other than go on the front porch. It's just the front porch that doesn't work. And there's no custom content in this build, so you don't have to worry about something not being there. I did probably use a little bit of a lot of expansion packs, so that is something to be cautious of, but I do have all of the expansion packs in my game, and sometimes I am a little reckless with using too many. It's something I'm trying to work on, and in builds that you're going to see in the future, you will notice that I try to isolate it to just a few packs to make them more accommodating to more people. And while we're on the topic, if you guys do want to see builds in the future using any specific packs, shoot me a comment down below and let me know which one so I can work on those before other ones that I may come up with myself, because I definitely prioritize what you guys want to see first. Now, before we run out of footage, let's go ahead and wrap this bad boy up. If you enjoyed today's build, please give me a thumbs up before you head out. They are always appreciated, and they let me know that you guys like the type of videos I'm putting out. If you've made it this far but you still haven't subscribed, I would highly recommend hitting that subscribe button. Chances are you like something you saw here today and that you will be back for another build in the future, so why not just hit the button today and get it over with? Other than that, I do hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and of course that you make it back here for the next one. Alright y'all, take it easy.